Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. Today we're asking the question, are you sitting on a lot of stock right now that you've accumulated and you're thinking about selling some covered calls? We're going to look at what I've been doing lately, selling some covered calls on SoFi because I'm in that position myself. And if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing. That way you don't miss any videos in the future. If you want to help out the channel, I have a course link down below. It's everything you need to know for beginners when it comes to selling options. I made it affordable. And when I started selling options, I thought it'd be cool to make enough each day to afford Chipotle and use the premium I gained from selling those options to buy Chipotle with. I always thought if I could do that, then that is the only thing I care about. And that has not been true in the slightest because I just got done eating some Trader Joe's Kung Pao chicken. I think that's going to be the new goal, is instead of buying Chipotle, buying Trader Joe's Kung Pao chicken because it's so good. And you're probably wondering, how does that tie into what we're going to talk about today? It really doesn't. I just thought I'd shout out Trader Joe's Kung Pao chicken. And I thought it'd be fun to challenge myself to try to make at least $50 a day this week selling options. Now, that really hasn't been hard so far. I know it's only 2 days in for the week, and we actually only have 4 trading days this week because the market seems to be closed Friday. But so far, I'm on track. As we can see here, I made 2 trades yesterday, amounting to $97. I made a couple trades today, amounting to $95. So both well over, almost double, our daily goal of $50 a day in premium. And aside from what you see here that I've sold daily, I've actually also added to a particular position. And that's this guy right here, the SoFi covered call that I've been selling. The strike price is $11.50. It's expiring this week, and so far I have made $148 in premium selling this call. Up here you can see all the individual trades that I've made adding up to $148. And when it comes to selling covered calls, this is the strategy that I've been employing, especially when things are super volatile. So when you sell a covered call, you are capping the amount of money that you can profit by a certain date. And let's go look at some SoFi options just to kind of explain what that means. So if we go to sell a call, and this $11.50 strike is the one I've been selling a lot of lately, it's expiring in 2 days. And if between now and 2 days from now when this expires, if the price of SoFi goes above $11.50, whoever buys the calls that I'm selling, they have the right to purchase 100 shares from me at $11.50, no matter what the price of SoFi is, as long as it's above $11.50. So SoFi might be $12 a share, and whoever bought this call between now and Thursday can purchase 100 shares from me at $11.50. So that limits how much I'm able to make in capital appreciation, because instead of selling them for $12 a share, I am forced to sell them for $11.50. And for taking on that risk, I get what's called premium. So in our case right here, I get $5 for each one of these contracts. When you sell covered calls, you typically do so with the idea of just making income that way. You don't really sell them with the idea of, I'm going to sell these shares. And because of that typically being the case, I like to sell covered calls that are less likely to be in the money, meaning that SoFi is going to be above the strike price of the call. And that way these can expire worthless and I keep the premium and move on to the next week. So if we look here, there's an 85% chance that this particular call option is going to expire completely worthless, and SoFi is not going to surpass $11.50 come Thursday. And you can see right here, I have a bunch of covered calls that I've already sold. You can see 11 at $11.50, 1 at $12, and 1 at $12.50. I still have over 2,500 shares available if I wanted to use as collateral when selling these covered calls. So I could sell 25 more contracts if I really wanted to. But because the premium, I don't think this $5 is really worth it. Maybe I'll look at next week. And I've also been selling a couple, or a few actually, of this $12 strike for next week. And here, if I wanted to, I get $11 per contract. If I wanted to sell them all up front, which I don't do, but if I wanted to, I could sell 25 of these, making almost $300 in premium from doing so. But what I like to do when things are super volatile is sell a few at a time. So if we go back to this week, And look at this 1150. All of these 11 contracts that I sold weren't all at once. It was over time. So maybe I'll sell 2 one day, and then the next day I'll sell 1, and maybe a couple more the next day. And the reason for that is if SoFi were to go up in price very dramatically to 1150, then I would start looking at higher strike prices because I don't want to lock them all in at 1150. Because then I have to roll them and add more time to those options. So I'd rather be a little more agile and have the ability to sell more at a higher strike price if SoFi were to go up in value between now and the expiration. And something happened between now and when the market closed, because if you watch my last couple of videos, you know that I have some Robinhood calls that I sold that are currently in the money. And Robinhood's dipped after hours 3.5%, which for me, that's actually pretty good because I don't want those calls to be in the money come Thursday, because then I either have to sell the shares or I have to roll them out in expiration and give them more time. When rather, I would just let this expire worthless, some of these covered calls that I sold on Robinhood, and then wait for the next week for maybe a better opportunity to sell fresh, new covered calls. So far this month, we have made $2,702 in premium, most of that being from selling calls on the SPY, selling calls on SoFi, and selling calls on Robinhood stock. So yes, I think I'm making enough per day to cover my Kung Pao chicken addiction, or at least my current Kung Pao chicken addiction from Trader Joe's. $50 a day was my goal. Maybe that's not enough. So maybe next week we look at trying to make $100 a day all week. If you want to stay tuned for that and see if I decide to do that, please consider subscribing. Like I said, if you want to go check out the course, it's down in the description if you want to help out the channel. Really appreciate it. I hope to see you in a future video.